My name's Steve Capps, and I worked a little bit on the ROM, and I helped Bruce Horn with the Finder.
My name's Andy Hertzfeld, and I worked on a lot of the system software for Macintosh.
My name's Randy Wigginton, and I wrote the word processor.
My name's Bill Atkinson. I did the Quick Draw graphics primitives and the MacPaint application.
I'm Bruce Horn, and I worked on the ROM little and on the Finder with Steve Capps.
My name is Burl Smith, and I designed the digital logic board for Macintosh.
I'm Owen Densmore, I did the printing.
My name's Ronnie Seebach, and I wrote the mouse lesson that you get on your Mac Guide and the font mover.
I'm going to show you the MacPaint graphics editor that runs on Macintosh and lets you edit images. Sometimes conveying your message goes better with pictures than with words. What you see when you open up MacPaint is 3 palettes, a palette of current tools, a palette of patterns, and a palette of border thicknesses. To use them, you point with the mouse and click on a tool and press, stretch out a line here, and release when you've got the line. Or choose a different thickness and do the same. There are structured tools along here that let you make hollow and filled objects, like a filled rectangle here. Choose a pattern to fill it with, and here make a filled oval. You can erase parts of the image using this little thing that looks like a brick. It's supposed to be an eraser, but that's the best I could do. And if you just scrub with it, it kind of eats away. And after you get bored with scrubbing a lot, you can just click twice and it'll get rid of everything. This tool lets me draw a curved filled object, where when I let go of the mouse, it will complete the curve and fill it in. Or here, a polygonal object, where I just click at each vertex, and when I click twice, it finishes it off for me. Okay. A little more free-form tool is the brush tool. Here, I'll erase things here and draw something with a brush. It's a lot like scribbling with a crayon. You can use it in conjunction with a pattern. And for example, let's choose a large brush shape. You have a variety of shapes you can choose from. You just click on one, and we'll choose a big round brush here, draw with that. And somehow the patterns sort of magically line up. I'm a little nervous, so I'm not too good with the mouse. Okay. The next tool here is a spray can, and it lets me do smooth shading. I can kind of gradually shade in something, and the longer I spray, the darker it gets. For example, I might take this circle and turn it into a 3-dimensional sphere by shading it in. Maybe I'll pick up a little bit of white paint and spray with that to put a highlight on it. And I can even control individual pixels. I can point at a dot and turn it on or off. And you have to kind of squint a bit, or you can go into fat bits, which lets you see a magnified view, and then it's easy for me to turn on and off bits. The hand tool lets me scroll. I can press on the document and push it around underneath the window.
That's incredible.
So up in the left-hand corner, I'm seeing a normal size view, and here I'm seeing a little bit magnified view so that I can act right on it. If you click in the small size view, you go back to normal size. If you have edges on your document, you can fill in areas using the paint bucket. Some people say it looks like a cap or graduation cap, but it's supposed to be a paint bucket pouring paint out the tip of it. So if you select a pattern and press, you can just fill in with that color of paint. It's like a coloring book. Then there's a tool for making text. You can point someplace and type. That's the first time I touched the keyboard. And I'm not a very good typer. Change the sizes and the emphasis things, etc. The next two tools at the top allow you to work on a portion of the image. The rectangle selector here says, I want to grab this rectangular chunk of the image. And you see little marching ants around it to help you distinguish what's selected. When you point inside the selection, you can pull on it and it'll come with you. If you hold down the Option key, then as you do so, it leaves behind the old one, so you can peel off a copy easily. If you hold down the Feature key, it stretches it instead. I'll undo that. Notice when I'm dragging this, it carries around a rectangle of white. Sometimes you want to select a non-rectangular selection, and notice this carries just the ball. I just lasso around the object. When I let go, the lasso tightens around it and gets just that thing. Again, Option will peel off a copy. And in fact, Feature and Option will peel off many copies. If I select a portion of image, I can also do edit commands on it. I can say to rotate that on its side, and that helps me when I want to put a label on the side of something. Or I can say to select a portion of the image and say flip that horizontally, or flip it vertically, or invert it. Many different transforms that I want to do onto the image. So far we've been working on one portion of the page. About a third of it is, well, you can see it on the screen, though you're dealing with a whole printer full, an 8 by 10 page. When you say show page, it'll show you the entire page, and it shows a rectangle that shows what portion you're looking at now. I can pull that rectangle down to another portion of the page to scroll to there and say, that's the portion I want to work on. And I prepared an image ahead of time, a little fish, and I'll select that with the lasso and copy that into the clipboard. This lets me take it between different documents. I can now paste that into another MacPaint document, or I'm going to quit MacPaint and we'll even paste this into a word processing document. Randy Wigington is now going to show us the MacWrite word processor.
As incredible as MacPaint is, it's really nothing compared to the quick draw routines that... it's nothing compared to the quick draw routines that Bill wrote for the ROM, and he also wrote for Lisa. If it weren't for Bill, none of us would be up here on this stage. I'd like to thank him for that.
I thought you were going to say compared to MacWrite.
No. No, it's a lot more interesting than a word processor. The whole thrust behind Mac is to make everything easy to use and very visually oriented. As Steve said, we didn't want you to remember a lot of escape/Command-Zs or anything like that. The whole idea is that whatever you see on the screen is what you're going to get on the printed page, and we wanted things to be simple and easy to use. With MacWrite, even though there's a lot of features, they're all very easy to use. For example, to type, all you do is you simply point the mouse somewhere, you click, and you start typing. Now you type. No great feat. You can also, however, go up and change the style. I'm going to type some underlined text. Oh. You can also type lowercase letters. Additionally, you not only have a choice of changing all the styles, but you can additionally change the size of any font that you're dealing in. I'm going to go to a larger font. Additionally, we have a large choice of fonts. All of these fonts come provided with each disc. One of my favorites is London, which is Old English. This is wonderful for writing letters to Mom. Sure. Really thinks you're getting a classic education this way. Another font that is one of my favorites is the one called San Francisco. This is used for Apple's new program called Cons Can't Wait. This isn't a very successful con. It has problems. You'll notice here that we have a document that was formatted with left and right margins. However, you haven't so far seen a way to control those. The way we do that is through the use of rulers. A ruler affects the format of the text from it up to the next ruler. If I simply say show rulers, we can see the ruler that's formatting all of this text here. We have choice. We have left margin in the first line indent. Over here we have a right margin. Here we have a tab stop. Here we have 3 buttons that determine the spacing of your document: single spaced, 1.5 spaced, or double spaced. You simply click on the box that you want to format the text according to your desires. We have center justify, right justify, or fill justify, where your margins are fully justified on both sides. We wanted you to see the printer image. The printing routines that were written by Owen Densmore do all the printing magic, so I can't claim credit there. Here's a table that we entered earlier. Additionally, we wanted you to be able to format tables featuring numerics and normal text and be able to change these and edit these as you wanted. We have 2 types of tabs: normal tabs and decimal tabs. These are tab wells that I can get extra tabs from. Here's a decimal tab. A decimal tab right justifies text up to a decimal point. Notice that this column, all of the decimal points are lined up. If we simply point at the tab, move it, and let go, the column will reformat underneath the new tab stop. Move it back. This is pretty useful for formatting tables and things like that. Well, earlier, Bill made a picture, and a picture is worth 1,000 words, and we thought we wanted to be able to handle that. So if you simply point and click, we can go ahead and paste, and the picture will now appear in the middle of your word processor document. This is pretty useful for illustrations and graphs and things like that. If you click on it, you can form a box around that. You can move the picture around. You can make your picture real small, make it real large. Fish is still ugly. We'll just make it look like a sardine. And one feature I forgot to cover was if you wish to replace some text. For example, I wish to have this letter written to trout rather than squid. You simply select the text you want to type in, and you type the replacement. Nothing else to remember. You can also go back and change any fonts anytime you want. We can select all of this. Let's put all of that in the San Francisco font. That's my favorite. And we can also make it all large. We can underline it. If you make a mistake at any time, no matter what you've done, you can always go back to the edit menu and select undo, and it will tell you what you're undoing, and we'll go back to the way it was before. If, for example, you had a lot of this selected, and as happens sometimes, your cat jumps on the keyboard and types that, you simply go up and you say undo, and you're back to where you were. We wanted to make it pretty forgiving so that you wouldn't curse at me later. Okay, thank you.